In a world that worships speed, to rest is an act of defiance. When you slow down, people get nervous. They call you lazy, unmotivated, unfocused. But maybe you are simply awake, because rest is not the absence of ambition. It is the presence of awareness. And sometimes, the most radical thing you can do is stop. We are praised when we sacrifice sleep, glorified for never pausing, rewarded for ignoring our limits. But what happens when the body breaks, when the mind goes silent, not from peace, but from collapse? We call it burnout, but in truth it is betrayal. The moment when you betray your soul for the illusion of productivity. Every age has had its idols, and every empire has demanded endless work. But long before capitalism, rest was sacred. In Judaism, the Sabbath was not simply a pause, it was rebellion, a weekly reminder that you are more than your labor, that no empire owns your hours. In Islam, Friday is the day of gathering, when prayer interrupts commerce and reminds the faithful that human worth is not measured in gold, but in surrender to the divine. In Sufi practice, the dhikr, the remembrance of God, is done not in haste, but in rhythm. Slow breathing, steady chanting, the heart falling into silence. In Taoism, Wu Wei Nunduing teaches that flow comes from harmony, not from force. Just as the river bends around stone, life moves best without strain. In Hinduism, yoga was not invented as a workout, but as stillness, a discipline of body and breath that returns you to presence. In Buddhism, the path to awakening begins not with endless striving, but with samadhi, the deep concentration that comes only when the mind rests like a still lake. In Shinto, rituals are slow and deliberate. Offerings are placed with intention. Purification comes not through effort, but through presence. And in early Christianity, the Desert Fathers walked into silence, not to escape the world, but to meet the divine in stillness. Mystical Judaism speaks of the Sabbath as a bride, a union with eternity, when the candles are lit and time itself slows down. The message across traditions is the same. You do not find the sacred by rushing, you find it by stopping. And psychology confirms it. Rest is not laziness, it is healing. Your brain needs quiet to organize itself. In silence, memories are stitched together, problems are solved in the background, the nervous system resets, and your heart needs space to grieve, to breathe, to release what it carries. Your immune system repairs itself only when you sleep, and even your creativity depends on the pauses. The greatest insights often come not at the desk, but on the walk, in the shower, in the moments when you stop forcing and simply allow. Yet, hustle culture does not honor biology. It overrides it, and so you override yourself until your body revels. Rest is not optional. It is inevitable. The question is simple. Do you choose it, or does it choose you? The Stoics understood this truth. To them, stillness was not weakness, but discipline. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he found his sanity in silence, pausing to reflect even in the chaos of war. Epictetus, once enslaved, discovered freedom not in movement, but in mastering his mind. Seneca wrote that life is long if you know how to use it, but short if you waste it in constant motion. They taught that virtue comes from within, that clarity requires quiet, and that those who cannot sit still are already ruled by something else. And philosophy after them has echoed the same lesson. Kierkegaard warned that the crowd, the noise of society, always drowns the voice of the soul. Nietzsche wrote that all great creation is born from stillness, because even the most powerful storm is preceded by silence. To stop is not to retreat from life, but to prepare for it. Think of the contrast. Machines are designed to run without pause, but people are not machines. A machine produces, but it does not dream. It executes, but it does not feel. To live like a machine is to forget that your value was never in your output, but in your being. To rest is to reclaim your humanity. In a Zen monastery, sweeping the floor is meditation, making tea is sacred, and sitting still is practice. The sacred lives not in the noise, but in the space between. Stillness is not empty. It is full of knowing, and when you stop moving, you might finally meet yourself. So stop apologizing for resting and stop explaining your stillness. You are not lazy, you are aligning. You are not falling behind, you are returning to what matters. The world may call you idle, but the divine calls you back. Because rest is not retreat, it is remembrance. You are not a machine, you are a soul, and the soul was never meant to run without silence. So let me leave you with a question. When do you feel most at peace? Comment below and subscribe for more stories of myth, philosophy, and meaning.